First at 4, do tenants still need to pay rent if the city tells them to leave their apartment for safety concerns? That's what some tenants at the Aristo at Medical Apartments are asking right now. And as of Friday, they couldn't get an answer. So KENS 5's Andrew Moore spoke to a Lone Star legal expert to get help. Andrew, what were you able to find out?
Yes, the city of San Antonio says Aristo at Medical has multiple code violations that threaten the health and safety of the public. Now tenants could be forced to vacate their apartments just 7 days into the month. So should they pay rent for that month? An attorney says while paying rent is almost always required when tenants are dealing with an issue, there are other options on the table.
Is a logistical nightmare here.
Christopher Boshin got one of these notices on September 1st. Aristo at Medical has 7 days to fix a lot of issues, or the city could force entire buildings to vacate. Boshin worries about moving, but there's also a more immediate question.
And whether to decide if I have to pay rent or not?
Do you still pay rent if you'll be forced to move out in just 7 days? The city didn't have an answer on Friday.
What we'll do is try to connect them with some legal aid.
So KENS 5 reached out to Lone Star Legal Aid over the weekend. Managing attorney Eric Quatler says paying rent is the safest option, but it would also be hard to get any of that back if your building is shut down.
In my experience, there is very little chance that a landlord in this situation would return any rent that was not ultimately owed.
There are also two other options. One is to ask your landlord to sign an agreement that lets you pay rent for the first 7 days and only pay the rest if the complex avoids the city shutdowns. Quatler says that should work, but the agreement needs to be written down.
Make sure you get the agreement in writing, make sure you get receipts and keep them.
And the other option is to not pay. Quatler said the landlord won't be able to fully evict anyone for non-payment in that 7-day window anyway. So if a tenant needs to spend that money somewhere else to stay off the streets, that's an understandable decision.
Having housing is the most important thing. You can worry about owed rent later. You can't worry about being on the street later.
And finally, Quatler says if a tenant does need to leave because the city says a building is not safe, that tenant needs to send their landlord a letter saying they are ending their lease due to the closures. We did see one repair finished on the property today, and we also reached out to the apartment management both Friday and today to ask about rent issues as well. We're still waiting for a response on that at this time. Deborah?
All right, Andrew, thank you.